Hi guys, what's up? In this little video here I want to talk to you about the output select on the Boss GT-1. And this is a question and a topic I see a lot of people talking about and asking questions about, because people that are new to the GT-1, as the same for the rest of us, we want to get the most out of the unit and make sure that we have connected everything in the correct order. And I want to talk about the output select and the different options that you have to choose from, because right off the bat it might seem a little overwhelming, and what do I have to choose in order to get everything right. So let me just zoom in here on the unit so you can see the screen a little better. And in the manual we have a page about the output select, and if we press the menu button over here, you see we'll have the output select down here as well. And if we go into that, press and enter, you see we have different options to choose from. And JC120, small amp, combo amp, stack amp, JC120 return, combo return, stack return, and line phones. Okay, so let me go back here and let me bring in the chart from the Roland Boss manual so you can see what I'm talking about. And right here on the screen you can see the section from the manual where we have an explanation of what the different options are and what they do. So for example, you have the JC120, and you basically want to choose this if you're connected to that matching guitar amp from Roland, the famous JC120 chorus preamp. So if you're connecting the GT-1 right into the front end of the amp, into the input of the amp, then you want to select that option. If you then, you have the next option here, the small amp, you want to choose this if you're connected to a small guitar amp. And that's what it says in the explanation, and it would have been nice if they could have laid it out a little further. It seems a little bit easy to just get off there and say, oh, it's for connecting to a small amp. Yeah, okay, but a small amp can be many things. But think about it this way. If you're connected to your practice or bedroom amp at home, a little amplifier with a 1 8-inch speaker or 1 10-inch speaker, something like that, I would consider that a small amp. And these days there are a lot of different types of small amps out there, but see the option small amp as something with a little speaker and not very much to output. Okay. And because when you get to the next option here, you have what's called a combo amp, and this is generally if you're connected your guitar input to a combo type amplifier, which could be an amplifier with as how I see it, an amplifier with more than one speaker. So it could be a Fender type amp with let's say 2 times 12-inch speakers, or 2 times 10-inch speakers. That could be the combo amp. So something with when you think about a combo amp, my mind goes straight to the Fender type amps, and basically anything similar or assorted to that. So basically just think about it, as it also says here, a single unit that contains the amp and speaker. Okay, so that's basically your straight up Fender amp or anything just like that. Then if we scroll again here, we get to something called stack amp. And I guess this is for your general Marshall stack amp. You know, you have your top top preamp, which has your main preamp section, and you have that connected to a cabinet, a 4x12 cabinet or 4x10 cabinet, something like that. So you basically select that in order to get the most out of that setup. And it also says one in which the amp and speaker are separate units, and that's exactly what you'll have. You'll have your top with the preamp and the EQs, and you have that connected to the the cabinet itself. So that's a good way to see it right there. And if we go here and we scroll again, we now get to something a little different. We have something called GT-120 return, and basically this is similar to the very first thing that we looked at. And if you have your Roland GT-120 amp and you then chose to connect your GT1 via the effects return of the amp's effects loop, then this is the way to do it. And the basic reason for connecting it to the return of an amplifier is that you have the possibility to use the built-in amps and cabinets from the GT1. Let's say if you don't have decent studio monitors or headphones and anything like that, then you can basically, by connecting it via the return of the amplifier, you basically bypass the preamp section of your amplifier. So basically you'll probably only have your master volume working and your effects send return knobs working, because in order to get the sound out you would have to adjust both the master volume and the effects return volume knob in order to get any sound coming through. So there's a reason for choosing the return of the GT-120 if you have an amp like that. If we then scroll again here, you will see that we get to something called combo return. And it's the same as before. It's a combo type amp. It's a single unit, meaning that we don't have a separate preamp and a cabinet. We have it all in one unit. So any Fender type amp and associated with that. But again, it has an effects loop, and we're able to connect the GT1 via the effects loop return of that amplifier. And again, depending on the amp, you might only have a few knobs working because we have bypassed the preamp section of the amp, or the EQs and the different channels on the amp, because we basically want to use the built-in ones from the GT1. And I may just quick mention that the way you could set this up, I have explained this is one of my other videos about your 3 basic setups. So if you want to check that, you can go and watch that. But you take your guitar cable into the input of the GT1, and you take your left output from the GT1 and put it into the effects return on the amplifier. And that's basically it. So that's the combo return. And if we scroll again, we have the stack return, and it's the same thing. And you choose this if you have your your amplifier, and you basically it says here, choose this if connected to the return jack of a stack type guitar amp. You should also choose stack return if you're using a guitar power amp through a speaker cabinet. So this is you can use this as well for stack type setups. And the very last thing here on the output select is the line phones, and this particular option is what I use all of the time, because line phones is basically for when you want to use this, either if you have headphones connected or if you have connected your GT1 to studio monitors, a mixer or a digital recorder. So when I create patches at home, I have my studio monitors and I create patches through them. Sometimes I do it in headphones as well, but I have a decent pair of studio monitors, so I like to, have the sound outputted in front of me. So I set it to line phones in order to be able to use the preamps as well, because when you select the line phones as your output select, the GT-1 will by default go in and turn on the preamps, because you need the preamps in there to get your sound, since you're not connected to anything similar to an amplifier. You're just hooking up to your headphones or your studio monitors or a mixer, PA, something like that. So I use the line phones option all the time when I go out of my GT-1 into the PA system with my band. And if you want to take the GT-1 on and use it with the line phone mode here, then you will have to get a decent DI box. I have a radial DI box, a stereo one. It's called Radial Pro D2 stereo DI box, and I just want to run my delays and my modulation in stereo, so I just chose to buy a stereo direct box. And but you will need that direct box in order to convert your GT1's unbalanced signals to a balanced one, because if I zoom out here, you'll be able to see that on the rear panel we have the two outputs, but they're both unbalanced because they're jacks. They just take standard 1/4-inch jacks. So we basically want to convert that signal from unbalanced to balanced, and we do that by connecting the outputs to two inputs on the DI box, and the DI box will then convert it via two XLR outputs on the left side, then convert it to a line level, and then send it to two channels on the mixer. So you would basically, you will need to take up two channels on your mixer in order to, get the stereo, because you'll have a left and a right side. So that's basically, how you would do that. And there's just a little thing, some of the small things to think about when you're just getting used to your GT-1, and you have to set up everything in order to make sure that you've connected the things right, and being able to get the most out of your unit. So if we just go over to Boss Tone Studio here, we have the options to do the same thing. And right now we're just here on the the screen here, your basic operation screen, and over here on the signal chain you see the out, and you see a headphone right now. So if I click that, we'll basically get into the same thing as we did on the unit itself, and you're able to see that the output select that I've chosen now is the line phones. But if I want to change it, you have the possibility to do that, and you have the same options to choose from as I just described in when we were on the unit itself. So that's the way you can do it in the Tone Studio here as well. And when you've selected it, you're just going to close, and you're basically out here as you were before. So that's just a little explanation of what the different things do, and I hope this will help some of you guys out, and just make it easier to understand what the different types of output select will do, because a lot of people just think right away that, okay, it doesn't really matter what I set it to, I just find something that sounds good. And of course you can do it that way, but I just think it's more appropriate to, the GT-1 actually gives you the possibility to let it know exactly what you're plugging into. And at least for me, that's not something I've seen on a lot of multi-effects processors. So for me it's just a great thing, because I know the unit will then optimize its performance by knowing what exactly I'm plugged into. So I just like to, just get everything straight in your setup here and make sure that you've selected the right output select, and you should basically be good to go. So guys, I hope this helps you out, and as always, please comment, like and subscribe my videos, and I'll have some more videos coming out soon. If you have any requests, feel free to post a comment with your request. You're also welcome to send me an email. You'll find that under the About tab on my YouTube channel, and we can get in touch that way. So guys, thanks for now, and I'll probably see you soon, so have a good one.